We live our lives by it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on all the way to Sunday. The 7-day week is so ingrained in our modern world that we rarely stop to question it. But why 7 days? See, unlike the day, which is based around the Earth's rotation, or the month, which is loosely tied to the lunar cycle, the 7-day week has no direct astronomical basis. So where does this seemingly arbitrary division of time come from? And how did it become so universally accepted? Let's journey back in time to uncover the fascinating origins of the week and the birth of the weekend. So to start, we have to look at why 7. You see, the 7-day week is a cycle used by almost everyone on the planet. Yet unlike other units of time, it doesn't align neatly with any natural celestial event. This raises a fundamental question. Why 7? Why not 5 or 10 or really any other number? This is seemingly an arbitrary division of time that has a rich and complex history, one that stretches back thousands of years and across numerous cultures. This brings us to chapter 2, the Babylonian beginnings, and the 7 celestial bodies. Now, if you watched my video about why is there 60 seconds in a minute, you understand that the Babylonians have had an influence on time for a while. And this time, our story is going to begin in ancient Babylon around the 6th century BCE. You see, the Babylonians were skilled astronomers and astrologists, deeply fascinated in the movement of celestial bodies. They observed 7 prominent objects in the sky: the sun, the moon, and the 5 visible planets. Those 5 planets being Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. Now, these 7 celestial bodies became the basis of their 7-day week. The number 7 really held a significant meaning in Babylonian culture and is often associated with the completeness of the cosmos. However, this is going to bring us to chapter 3, which is the Hebrew influence. The concept of a 7-day week was really adopted by the ancient Hebrews. In the book of Genesis, it describes how God created the world in 6 days and he rested on the Sabbath, which is the 7th day of the week. And that day would be dedicated to both rest and worship. This biblical narrative profoundly influenced Jewish culture, making the Sabbath a central tenet of their faith. This concept of a divinely ordained day of rest would become a crucial element in the spread of a 7-day week. And this is going to bring us to chapter 4, which is going to be the Roman expansion and their global reach. You see, the Romans initially actually used an 8-day cycle, not really called a week. It was called a nundinum. Sorry, I haven't practiced my Latin in a while. But the nundinum culminated in a market day where rural people would come to the city and sell their goods. This day had some similarities to the weekend with reduced work and school. See, days at this time were also not named, but instead they were lettered. So each day of the week would be just marked with a different letter, such as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down to H, which I guess could have just jumped to H right there. And it wasn't actually tied to the solar year either. So because the nundinum wasn't 8 days long and the year wasn't a multiple of 8, this cycle of market days would actually shift slightly every year. However, as Judaism and later Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire, the 7-day week gradually gained traction. In the 4th century CE, Emperor Constantine, a convert to Christianity, officially adopted the 7-day week for the Roman Empire. This decision was pivotal. As the Roman Empire's influence extended across vast territories, so too did the 7-day week, solidifying its place in Western culture even after the empire's decline. Now we go into chapter 5, the cultural and religious reinforcement. It's really become a global standard. The 7-day week wasn't solely just a Western phenomenon. It was adopted by various other cultures and religions as well, to include Islam. In Islam, Friday holds a special religious significance. The reason why it is different in Islam versus some of the Christian and Hebrew faiths is because the Quran has a specific chapter, which is translated to mean Friday, that emphasizes the importance of congregational prayer on this day. It instructs its believers to cease trade and business when the call to prayer is made on Friday and to hasten to the remembrance of God. While some cultures like ancient China and India had their own timekeeping systems, the global influence of the European colonization and trade further cemented the 7-day week as the dominant standard across the world. This brings us to chapter 6, one of our favorite parts of the week, and that's going to be the birth of the weekend, from rest to recreation. For much of history, the concept of a weekend as we know it actually didn't exist. The Sabbath or Sunday was the primary day of religious observance. However, during the Industrial Revolution brought about long working hours and difficult conditions, leading to labor movements advocating for a day of rest beyond Sunday. In the 1920s, Henry Ford implemented the 5-day workweek, significantly popularizing the 2-day weekend. This marked a shift from the purely religious day of rest to a period of leisure, recreation, and family time, fundamentally changing how we structure our lives. Now we look at chapter 7, some of the experiments of time, and some alternative weekly structures. Throughout history, there have been attempts to deviate from the 7-day week. During the French Revolution, for instance, a 10-day week was briefly introduced. It didn't work. And the Soviet Union also experimented with the 5-day week, which also didn't work. However, these experiments, while they ultimately failed, people seem to naturally always gravitate back to the familiar 7-day structure, highlighting almost its deep cultural and just psychological roots into who we are today. But that doesn't mean it's not going to change. And so in Chapter 8, we look at the modern week and some of the adaptations for the future. You see, the 7-day week has endured for millennia. It is really a testament to its cultural, religious, and practical significance. But today we see some new experiments with time, such as discussions of a 4-day work week, which we could once again reshape how we perceive time and experience time in our work weeks. But the fundamental concept of a weekly cycle, with its balance of work and rest, I think is going to remain until, AI takes over. But as we close it out, from ancient Babylonians gazing at the stars to our modern world of smartphones and digital calendars, the 7-day week really has been a constant thread connecting us to our past. It's a testament to the enduring power of cultural and religious ideas to really shape our lives. And so the next time you look at your calendar or anticipate the weekend, remember that you're really participating in a tradition that spans thousands of years, a tradition that has shaped civilizations and continues to influence how we experience time itself. Now, will this structure remain unchanged for another millennia? Only time will tell. Pun intended. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to interact with it in any way you feel comfortable. Rather that, leave a comment down below, maybe like it or share it to someone else who might enjoy it. Or you could just subscribe and look forward to future content coming out from the channel. But regardless of what day you have coming next in your week, remember, believe in yourself, believe in God, and amazing things are going to happen. This is Tyree from Wrist Unwound. God bless and peace.